feel like I've been very boring outside of games today. I think it's just because I'm that little bit kind of concerned about making sure we get into games and get everything running properly and so on. So I'm sorry if I'm sounding a little bit boring, guys, when we're just getting ready for games. It's always just a bit of a different setup to usual. You know, usually it's so easy to just play as through the maps themselves. They don't really need much interaction with the admin or the caster. Obviously today we're making sure the players know any issues with the maps, any sort of bits and pieces, yada yada, you know. So I'm just sort of being very much so communicating with them, which makes me a little bit quiet with you guys perhaps. So hopefully you don't feel it too much. I feel it on my end though, which is not a good sign, so I do apologize for that. To the bottom right hand side, our red Protoss player is Hellraiser. Going up against the blue Zerg player, currently 1-1 in today's matches, TLO in the upper left, from Team Liquid as well, of course. What does Wardy actually mean? Well, my last name is Ward, and when I was young, everyone called me Wardy. It's perhaps one of the simplest gamer tags ever. One of the most least... I actually remember this. The first time I ever cast with In Control... I actually love this. I was at Home Story Club, and the first time I ever cast with Jeff, I was... we were sitting down, and I'd never really even talked to Jeff that much before, and I remember we sat down, and Jeff's like, so, you know, we're killing some time or something. He's like, so, Wardy, why don't you tell us something about yourself? I mean, for example, where does your gamer tag come from? You know, why did you pick the name Wardy? I was like, well, my last name is Ward, and so and so people called me Wardy, and In Control's just like, well, that was a great question, Jeff. Good job. It was more funny in the moment than me reenacting the moment while laughing about it, you know. Proud of you, DLO. How's it going, man? I feel like you've been in the stream every day this week, saying, so glad I charged my phone and grabbed headphones as you sit waiting for your car's recall to be done. I'm glad we can entertain you in a time that was usually maybe a little bit more boring, a little bit less interesting. Good to be here bringing you some games. Depth shading forwards at the moment, so just looking to get out onto the map and to get a little bit of something going on. A little bit of information, at least in these early stages. We'll arrive up into the natural expansion. So again, just going to look around, see what it can do. Starts to shade in towards a mineral line, and obviously a couple of drones going to be potentially tagged away at here. So one drone already taking a little bit of damage and now falling. So going down there to begin with. I mean, only one worker killed those. There's nothing too crazy. His TLO micros the workers into spores perfectly on that last one, just to keep it alive at the very end. Obviously nicely done there. Just again a quick sec, you guys, while I sort something out on the other screen. It really will only be a second. No, there we go. We're already done. I probably didn't even need to say anything. Well, we do see link speed is just about halfway done from TLO, and as we set up into the ZvP on King's Cove, it's a pretty solid, large map, this one. It really feels large, doesn't it? 3 bases on the high ground. You move down to this 4th base, perhaps. Some people, I think, already we saw taking a 4th base here. Definitely not up the right-hand side, though. That doesn't really quite add up. That really doesn't quite add up as in terms of how the expansion pattern just works. It just doesn't really make sense. So you see this Oracle is going to be taking a couple of tags of damage. Oracle Hellraiser continues to gather up as well. So a couple of them just going to sit here on this left-hand side, Lair on its way up in the main base, and we will just be seeing the +1 attack upgrade being chrono boosted from Hellraiser. So Hellraiser chrono boosting away on this, and as you see the Robo and the Twilight coming up, we obviously got to see a bit of Hellraiser's PvZ already today. We actually already watched him against... actually, is this the last match of Hellraiser today? It is. Hellraiser, we've actually cast all of his matches after this one. So last match of Hellraiser, and yeah, he's already 4-2 in the group. So again, just to kind of go through the standards right now, Stefano finished his matches 6-2, Hellraiser 4-2. So actually, if Hellraiser wins this 2-0, He would be 6-2, but Stefano would win out because he has the head-to-head victory over Hellraiser. So Stefano still looks good for first place in the group in that regard. But if TLO wins this without dropping a map, then he's still on track to finish himself first place in the group. If TLO drops a map, it becomes a bit of an awkward position between TLO and Stefano, where there might be something of a tiebreaker or something along the way. So we'll see how this goes. Let's see what TLO can bring us. Obviously, again, it depends on what the other matches are. This is assuming TLO wins the best. You know, TLO could win 2-0 here and then lose, go 1-1 against someone else somewhere. There's a lot of ways that this could go in the near future. He's getting into this. We see the Hydras then just finish up from TLO. We see Colossus from Hellraiser. A little bit different. Obviously, Colossus not something you usually see rushed out in PvZ. And TLO not really with a scout on this either. Comes to the left-hand side, sees a third Nexus building. And just has no information at all on the Robo Bay, on the just this natural expansion at all, which is where the important info is. If TLO doesn't know about it, that could really hurt him here. Now he's morphing in a few Ravagers, interestingly enough. He went for the Roach opening to try and keep himself safe up until now. Now as he transitions out of this, he starts to go in towards the Hydra's den. The group of Spines is on the way up and a few Hydras continue to build too. So 5 Hydras currently coming up. Oracle in the back going to get killed off by the Spore Crawler, so that's a nice pickup here. Again, this Observer from Hellraiser just sat overhead. Again, Overlord just sat on the upper right-hand side. Again, TLO taking this forward 4th base already, and we're just starting to see this kind of diamond-shaped, or square-shaped, I guess, really. Depends which way you look at it. I guess if you just look on the minimap, it's a square. The square-shaped base setup in the top left-hand side already being established. +1 missile attack is about to finish from TLO. So as +1 missile attack finishes, we see the Bane speed coming through, the Hydras must got augments coming through. 4 extra gates from Hellraiser. Man, TLO just doesn't know about the color. Now, if he comes up this ramp and sees the Colossus, that is actually really good information. He comes up the ramp, he doesn't see the army yet. That's bad, because if Hellraiser, I really feel Hellraiser should still hide the Colossus. Okay, now he sees them, and he'll know they're real. He took the damage there into the main base. He'll also just run by. Doesn't see the Robo Bay. But if he goes into the back of the Natural, he definitely know. He's actually getting some good damage here, TLO. 4 workers killed so far. There's a few of these extra Zealots charge on in. And now he does, for sure, 100% knows his Colossus. I mean, yes, he saw them before. Maybe he somehow thought they were hallucinated, I don't know. But now, Robo Bay 2, there's no reason for him not to think this. Lurker Den on the way down for him immediately as he sees it, though. So, maybe looking to morph some of the Hydras in towards Lurkers instead of having a higher Hydra count, which is obviously pretty weak against Colossus because they do take a lot of damage pretty quickly. Hydras, Lings, Roaches, and Ravagers of TLO are going to be coming down the left-hand side, so they are going to already start working their way against these rocks. A little bit of damage being dealt here, so rocks going to get broken down. As rocks get broken down, it opens up the map a little bit as we start to push on forwards. Now to the top side, a Spore Crawler will start to deal some damage to this Warp Prism, which just drops off one single lone Adept. And the Queen will start to get to work on that. A couple of Lings coming in. Nice shut down by TLO. I mean, it wasn't a lot of harassment or anything, but it was still quick and simply done. Didn't let TLO start to run away with this game at all. Hallucinated Phoenix into the middle of the map too now. Hellraiser keeps on pushing up towards this upper side. This hallucination going to get picked off here. The Overseer moving over to the right. Well, Overseer moves on over to the right. We do see another Immortal about to pop out of this robotics facility, so this is Immortal pops out. We're going to see another one being Chrono boosted now as well in the natural expansion. It's just going to be starting to Chrono boost this through, and we are going to be seeing this few group of Overlords heading in towards the upper right-hand side. Hydra is picking off a hallucination, but there's going to be a hallucination that makes it fairly far forward, so he could get some information with this. Wants to try and see just what TLO is up to. Where's his tech at? But he misses the Hive, but he sees the Lurker Den researching. That will tell him Hive is there, even if he doesn't see it directly. And that obviously means all Hive tech is available. And obviously, it directly tells him that there's going to be speedy burrowed Lurkers in the near future. Yeah, guys, the Team Liquid Map Contest Tournament is sponsored by Blizzard. It's put on. It's run by me. So the tournament section itself is run by me. I organized this tournament. I get paid for organizing the tournament by Blizzard. But it's sponsored by Blizzard, and the Team Liquid map contest is obviously put on by Team Liquid. So the tournament section sponsored by Blizzard, the map contest put on by Team Liquid, the tournament put on by WardiTV. Feelings gather to the south, and TLO, man, he's maxed out, and we've really seen such a passive game here between the two of them. As Hellraiser will just pause quickly. Fuck. I forgot to talk. Jello's Jello's just like, yeah, you would have that Nexus for long anyway. And Hellraiser's just like, yeah, fair enough. Oh man, well, TLO starts to push at the front. Sorry, I forgot to tell Hellraiser about that, and it hasn't been fixed yet, unfortunately. Lurkers will burrow, so here we go. I mean, TLO wasn't joking. Here's the big fight. The Ravagers from the right-hand side. The Banes just finished morphing too. This army is already in some trouble. Hellraiser not having a great time. The Nexus is going to go down, so TLO wasn't kidding. That base was not going to be around long enough for it to really matter anyways, and TLO just absolutely crushes this force. Look at this. Absolute destruction here. Burrows the Lurkers on top of the rest of the army. GG. TLO on the stream, but again, do check out me on Twitter, WardiXO. Twitter.com/WardiXO. If someone types !PS Media, it will come up with a link. And if you guys, if you're a Twitter user, you want to keep up to date with where I'm casting, what I'm casting, WardiXO is a good account to do it on. I also like to spam Rifkin with memes sometimes on there and some other bits and pieces, so yeah, check it out. Otherwise, we're on Port Alexander for Game 2 between TLO and Hellraiser. To the bottom right-hand side, the blue Protoss player is Hellraiser. Top left is our red Zerg from Team Liquid, TLO. Alright guys, and as it is just going to be a little bit of a slow start, of course, just a quick shout out as well. Trying to get back up towards 250 subscribers. We're 8 away. Honestly, it's taking a lot longer than I thought. I thought we've been streaming quite a bit the last few days, and I thought we'd hit 250 subs again a bit faster than we are doing. But a couple of weeks in, we're still struggling along. So if you want to help us out, subscribing does support the channel, the content, and all of the casting that we do here on the stream. And of course, just in general, if you're wanting to see more StarCraft content, it's a great way of guaranteeing more in the future too. And of course, if you're Twitch Prime users, you can subscribe for free. You get benefits such as replay packs, so if you're enjoying today's games, you want to watch them in-game, you can watch the replays. They'll be sent out to subscribers. We send out all of the replays we cast, all the games we cast on the channel in replay form. You generally get 300 to 400 replays a month if you're a subscriber. So, one of the benefits. Plus, you can spam emotes. We've got a couple great emotes lately, so, yeah. Check that out. Anyways, game number 2, and it is Port Alexander again, a map by Young Rustless, also a map maker of Reminiscence, I believe it was. And, yeah, I love this map. I actually think it's really cool. This map got submitted to a map contest a while back, and it didn't make it in. I'm glad to see it made it through this time, and I really feel that this is a map that could be seen on the ladder in the future, so excited to see how that goes. We do see link speed starting. Excited to see if we get the the macro game here too, because I really feel this is a great macro map, and obviously the last game wasn't too exciting in the way it ended, but it was nice to see the kind of the build up and the longer game in general. Hoping for something similar here on Port Alexander. The depth will shade on over towards the left hand side, so moving on to the left here, looking to get in a position where I could apply some pressure. Link speed is about halfway done at the moment from TLO. And that Stargate is about quarter of the way done, coming up to being about halfway done as well. The single Zerglin or two actually trying to get some damage done also. Will grab one pro kill already. It's Deft again trying to find some damage early on in the game, but TLO's been pretty good with kind of keeping his drones alive. Cancelling those spores, loses one worker, gets the Adept without too much issue. 5th base is so exposed, says Faith. Well, if you take a 3rd base over here, I guess 3rd base up here, move down towards the 4th, then towards the 5th over here even. Like, I don't think this base is actually going to be taken at all. I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting. I haven't really seen a longer game on this one to really figure it out. Wardy, everyone spent all of their money on Ratataz. The economy is broke. Yeah, it's okay. I know. You know, I don't really expect everyone to come charging in after yesterday's ridiculous base trade TV stream support, but gotta mention it anyways. You know. Hellraiser seems to be in all the tournaments casted at the moment, says Maple 1230 12345. Few gateways coming up right now from Hellraiser, setting up at the front. His robot facility about to finish here, but no Twilight or anything, just Stargate into Triple Gate. It's actually interesting, so I wonder, he's going double Oracle, now a Phoenix. Interesting, It's a bit different than usual. Double Oracle, then a Phoenix, the Robo, the 3 gates. I guess because he just wants to go in towards this little bit of an Adept Oracle attack. Generally the Adepts kind of fight the Lings, the Oracles help out as long as they stay away from the Queens. It becomes very powerful as a combination. And as we do see, the 2 Oracles just going to go back towards the upper left hand side. We do see the Queens starting to push away at those Adepts. And we do have the Adepts just shading in towards the natural mineral line, so we're going to do some damage. And again, the Queens, well, they're on top of the Oracles at least, but there's not really enough Lings to fight the Adepts super efficiently. You do see the Queens going to continue fighting here, and both those Adepts will go down. So Adepts all do get killed. And again, the 2 Oracles just sliding up towards the top. Robo Bay coming through. Twilight Council on its way as well. Forge has finished upgrades and start again. Robo Bay means we are going to be seeing Colossus once more. So Colossus coming through for the second time in a row here. Hellraiser, again, a little bit of a difference in his PvZ to what we usually would expect to see. There's a couple of Zealots going to come swiping away again. Probe gets taken down. Zealots surrounded. Phoenix will lift up one of those Zealots, and the other Zealot will sit underneath 2. 2 Oracles still just off to the side here. And that +1 missile attack upgrade from TLO is still coming in as well. Pneumatized Carapace will allow him to get a lot of scouting information in this game, and maybe even enabled him to go for some drops. Alrighty, Oracles again coming in, grabbing a Creep Tumor. TLO is actually just pushing across the map. Wow. He's going to, he's going to pick up these Queens. He's actually just going to go for a big attack here, TLO. Very interesting. And Roach Speed coming up, +1 on the way. The first Colossus is still in production. His second Colossus is still in production. There's one so far. I just wonder about the Queens. I'm intrigued. This army coming along while the Queens are going to drop down, and I mean, there isn't really a ton of units at the moment. Sentries warping in, which are good for force fields, but they're not going to be great in terms of actually putting out damage. TLO has Roach Speed now, still a little ways off the +1 attack. Morphing in some more drop lords. I'm not actually sure what his plan is, because he did invest into this Pneumatized Carapace some time ago. Spreading his Cryptium forward, sends one drop lord towards the natural, which actually pulls this army out of position to begin with. First Queen. Transfused, even though he's actually pretty high on health anyways. Again, the Colossus. Oh, he's going to send the Colossus towards the drops. The drops are completely empty, though. It's just a bait. Hellraiser is going to lose its third base. Perhaps we're going to see one of these Colossus found over here. A sentry killed off too. In fact, the other Colossus is out on its own too. Not Stefano. TLO just pushes on in without issue. And he is going to be continuing to clean this up. So those Zealots keep on going down all over the place. And that's going to be GG. TLO takes a 2-0 against Hellraiser.